Pelicans win 127-116. Before we get in the show, it's going to be an awesome show. We're just going to go 45 minutes. Presented by Birdsall Law Firm. The podcast is sponsored by Birdsall Law Firm, the official injury lawyers of Boot Crew Media, located at 918 Poydras Street by the Superdome. Give them a call at 504-523-5413. If you or someone you know has been involved in an accident, Birdsall Law Firm, the official injury lawyers of Boot Crew Media. I'm gonna just, you know what? I got a nice little duck horn here. I'm gonna pour it up a little bit. This is gonna be a good one tonight. 23-12.
That's crazy.
11 3-pointers made by CJ McCollum tonight. We'll start with Lito. I'm going to go to Ross. I'm going to Chaz. I'm really excited to get to Chaz on CJ take. But Lito tonight, I thought the coaching staff made a really nice adjustment. They started off slow again, but they used the bigs in PNR. You saw a lot of times tonight, especially in the first half, Jonas Valanciunas setting a high ball screen for CJ, and CJ's coming off and just shooting practice threes. I thought tonight the game plan was really, really good.
I think the game plan got better towards the end of the game plan. I did not like not doubling Joel Embiid.
Oh no, hold up. I'm talking straight offense. I'm talking straight offense.
Okay.
I'm not talking about
all right. Okay. Well, let me start over.
I led off with 11 3-pointers. Go ahead.
Let me start over. I have nothing negative to say about the game plan offensively. I have zero negative. When a person makes 11 3-pointers, I got nothing that I can critique. Zion had the quietest 36 points I've ever seen in my life. I didn't even know he had 36 points. Like I looked up. I swear Zion. I thought he had maybe like 17, and then Joel said 34 points, and I'm like, when the hell did that happen? But then I realized like PJ Tucker was like bloodied and bruised, and he was getting abused a lot. And I was like, okay, well, I mean, yeah, the game plan was solid, man. I like the high pick and rolls with JV and Zion. I really wish, even when Brandon comes back, we can continue that. It's not a lot. I could critique offensively. I don't know what I can say.
Because we're going to talk about the Joel Embiid. I want to talk about the double team. We'll get our takes on that. But Ross, tonight, Chaz said it. I think Chaz said it last show. But Zion cracked the code, and it looks like Zion's now really, really comfortable with playing with JV, comfortable playing with CJ, really comfortable playing with Trey. The game slowed down for him tonight, and just the last month, it's slowed down for him.
Yeah, he had a run there in the second quarter. And where I guess middle of the second quarter we kind of pulled away, and then we didn't close the quarter very well. But I think you saw for at the beginning of the quarter it was PJ Tucker, and then they tried Niang. That was a bad idea. And so they threw a handful, and then they went zone, I believe, even for a while. And so he's and we said it a little bit, I think, in the last post game. Is it? I don't know whether it's experience. I don't know whether it's, just being in just kind of peak game shape. I don't know if it's film work. In reality, it's probably some combo of all those things, but he's just clearly got a better idea of like how to attack people now. And so I think that's part on him. That's probably part coaching. But he certainly seems to just have a really good game plan for how to attack whoever's guarding him or whatever the other team's throwing at him. So, I know we early in the year, Justin, you had kind of made a couple comments about, he's got to work on he's got to have some secondary moves. He's got to have a counter. He's got to have, some other ways other than just a hard, straight left-hand drive. And like now you're seeing there's a lot of different ways to get to the same spot, right? He's still trying to get to the front of the rim or get to his left hand, but it's not all just catching at the right elbow and a hard straight line drive left. You're seeing him score in just a variety of ways.
It's disgusting, Chaz. I'm gonna throw this one to you. You want to talk about? I'm such a good assist man. I'm gonna give you one. The 3 times tonight, I think he had turnaround jumpers. I think he had one on the left baseline. I think he had one in the middle of the paint, and then he might have had another one on the left baseline. Are you kidding me? How do you? If he's gonna do that, you can't stop him.
Yo, I keep saying it, yo. It's only 3 people in the NBA who can stop Zion Williamson, and PJ Tucker isn't one of them. It was I'm telling you, like again, I can't understate this enough. There's already been a major trade acquisition this season, and it was Zion Williamson. Like you got an actual committed as far as we know, Zion Williamson, and it's evident. You know what I'm saying? He isn't easily tricked out of his game and what he wants to do. Just that aggression was there. I saw it a lot tonight. Like he was determined to score, determined to get there. Saw it last game, really, and you just see the carryover. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's one thing I will say about Zion. He's probably the most since that game he came back against the Warriors. In my opinion, he's been the most consistent player on this team. Every night, Zion Williamson is the same player on both sides since that Warriors game. And it's just great to see. You know what I'm saying? It's great to see. And somebody was offering me an extra $28 million. I run through a wall right now. You know what I'm saying? You're like, damn, I know Chaz was strong like that. So I don't know if it's the $28 million or it's the will to be great. And or whatever it is, I'm happy that he's overcome so much adversity and he's keeping it up, man. Did you want me to speak on the CJ thing?
No,
I'm sorry, Ross.
No. We're not.
No, I just had a question. I did. I wanted to follow up because, I mean, Chaz, you just said, there's really only a couple of guys that can guard him. And as I think back going, really to that Warriors game and what's happened since then, I mean, the only time that I can really think, somebody caused him trouble was Drew. And like, I'm
glad you brought that up.
Even in that game, yes, Drew gave him fits, I think, but it was more on the perimeter stuff. He was having a harder time getting into his move. But a lot of that too was just the way the Bucks defended him as a team.
Yeah,
because you had Brook Lopez just kind of camping out under there, and you had Giannis sort of hanging around. And I'm wanting to give credit. And I'm sorry, I'll just finish this. I'm wanting to give credit to Holiday for that game, but even then, you're really talking about it's like a team has got to really load up.
Yeah,
and
I want to talk about your points. I want to talk about your points as well. This is what I was talking about, learning the game and the game slowing down. I vividly remember texting Lito during that Bucks game. I'm like, you got Wes Matthews and Drew Holiday on you. I don't give a fuck. Damn it. I don't give a damn.
It wasn't me.
Go on the right block.
$20.
You go on the right block and you post them up. You post up Drew Holiday. You post up Wes Matthews. Tonight, he learned, like, let me just go on the right block and get out of the way and give me the ball against PJ Tucker. And I think he got fouled twice in a matter of 20 seconds. Lito, that's what I'm talking about, progression and understanding the game. I think AD nailed it on the head. I think it was, don't quote me on this, I think it was Zion's 102nd game played tonight.
Yeah.
And AD was talking about, he's only played 102 times. It's a season and a quarter. And he's now starting to learn the game a little bit. The game is slowing down for him, Lito, and he's starting to see it way better.
I texted you earlier. We talked about this yesterday. The only two, Chad says it's 3 people. The only 2 people I saw play. I know Drew was guarding him, and I don't want to get to your point, Justin, but I know Drew was guarding him. But to me, the reason why Drew's effective is because you have Brook and Giannis behind him. Like Ross said, they guarded them as a team, right? So, like I told you that yesterday. It's only one team in the NBA that I feel like can adequately guard him. To get to your point, right? That man, I keep saying this. That man is an athletic computer. That man, he sees matchups, he processes it, he goes back to it, and he adjusts. He's got a little wrinkle. He adds to something. It was a point, I think, where he realized how PJ Tucker was guarding him, right? Zion is a physical guy, but PJ Tucker is in the NBA for 2 things. PJ Tucker is in the NBA to hit corner threes and for his shoes. And
oh yeah.
I really thought you were coming with defense with that, and it just wasn't that.
Nah, I'm not. Nah, he realized that PJ Tucker was following him. Oh, he realized how he was following him, and PJ is crafty. Like, I'm not gonna take any of P. He's a good defender, right? But he can't guard Zion. I don't care how good a defender is. He can't guard that guy. But once Zion started figuring it out, like it was like, oh, okay, you gonna do that? All right, well, let me do this. Instead of dipping my shoulder this way, let me come this way. Let me drive wider with it. Let me create the separation so the referees can actually see it. That was after that, it was downhill, man. That dude is a computer.
Chaz, do you remember? I was shocked that Doc did this because I vividly remember this game. And I'm pretty sure it was before the pandemic. And Ross, you probably remember this game too. It was a Sunday prime time like matinee, and the Rockets were playing the Pelicans. This one we had Lonzo Ball and Zion, and they put PJ Tucker on Zion, and I think Zion might have dropped a good like 35 on him. So I was really surprised tonight. Doc was matching his minutes with PJ Tucker. I'm like,
no, because you think Doc
you're gonna lose that.
Yeah, I'm about to say, because you think Doc's a good coach. Doc sucks.
No, ho. I've told Lito N5 multiple times. I think Doc Rivers is one of the worst coaches I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Ross, or Chaz Ross, go ahead.
Yeah, he's a bad coach, but in his defense, and this is the problem that a lot of teams are going to have. Like, so what are your options? Like, because Joel Embiid picked up 5,000 this game too, and 2 or 3 of those were back to back on Zion too. He can't guard. That'd have been a bad. He just can't guard him, and he's too important offensively. They don't want him guarding Zion. You sure as hell are putting Tobias Harris. That's feast. I mean, that's Thanksgiving Day. And so other than that, it's just little guard. I mean, there's just a lot of teams that are going to find themselves in a really awkward spot, and I think that's why you're going to continue to see a lot of zone be played. I thought, and that for me was, I think, one of the more impressive stretches of the game, because we had a few plays when they went into zone right away where Zion was able to get into the teeth of it and basically get a layup and an one. And it was like, yeah, this shit's done. Because what do a lot of people say whenever people get into a zone? Put somebody at the middle of it, play 4 out, and you should be able to knock down open threes. Like, that's just not this team. And look, CJ kind of shot him out of the zone a little bit. But we're not a team that's just going to play 4 out like that. We just don't. It's not the personnel. This isn't the Warriors when they had Curry and Clay and whoever else. Like, that's not how we play. And so I thought what was really impressive was there were a couple little pet sets where basically got it to Zion, had him get it right back. They got it right back to him on kind of a little misdirection stuff, and he was able to drive straight in. Well, once he's inside that first level of the zone, it's over. And so I think they're getting smarter as a coaching staff about how to attack that, and just knowing that you're going to see a lot of it.
I think
nice
I think the last 3 matchups against the Sixers, 3 to 4 massive matchups, I just think it's one of them teams where we surprisingly match up really well with. The teams that beat the Pelicans are teams that shoot threes. If you shoot threes, or you got like those water bug type guards, like even when we had Drew Holiday, if you had a quick twitch guard, he was going to kill Drew all night. Like, it just is what it is. For a cross sports reference, Zion reminds me a lot of like a guy like Muhammad Ali, from the standpoint of Muhammad Ali never lost to the same person twice. Like, he was always able to kind of figure the guy out, and he was able to like adjust. And I think tonight, you saw that again. I saw that against the Jazz with Vanderbilt. And when I say there's only 3 people that can stop Zion, I don't even mean defending him. I'm talking about Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum, and Willie Green. The best thing tonight was, again, the last 2 games in particular, CJ deferred to Zion. He did the right thing. And I'm like, yes, CJ, if you do that, we good. We good, bro. Just defer to Zion when Zion is cooking. And when you're doing your thing, do your thing.
Chaz, can you admit at least tonight, I agree with you. I think CJ has to defer that. And when I thought CJ did a really good job of running the second team too tonight. We'll get into that. But did you realize that CJ was facilitating really early tonight and getting others involved before forcing and then really getting into a rhythm? That's what I thought offensively.
I didn't watch the first quarter, but
okay.
I did. I thought the shots CJ took, I didn't think all of them were good, but I thought when he took them, some of them were necessary. It's like, it was kind of like
late in the shot clock,
shot clock, or like, I trust you to take some of these shots.
Right.
You're paid to take these types of shots. And again, to a greater point, CJ's the second option right now. So he has to shoot to a degree. Now, you don't shoot the team out of the game, but he has to shoot. Like, you got Joel Embiid guarding JV. I thought JV was admirable on both ends tonight. Joel got such a quick first step, man, and you just like, damn. But I thought JV was admirable. I thought Jax was admirable.
That's a heck of a. That's it. Okay, sorry. I mean,
what was saying he was admirable? I say that because you're talking about a top 5 player who apparently, who apparently don't need, right? Who apparently, like Kevin Durant, was overrated, right? Joel's overrated, apparently. But I'm saying, I thought JV, for what it's worth, he had a couple good possessions. Billy too. I thought it was a great team victory.
That's what I'm getting to. Lito, we got to talk big fellas, but before we get into that, Company Burger located 4600 Ferret Street, the best burger in the city. Lito, Billy Hernangomez tonight, a guy that's, I don't know, he's had a weird year. I'll get into Ross next, but he's had a weird year of like, remember he's had those like cryptic tweets and like clearly he's upset about his playing time, but whenever he's called on, he seems to produce. He's a professional. Again, and he's also an MVP. He's the only MVP on the team. So, 4-7 from the field, 13 points, 4 rebounds. But most importantly, Lito, I thought that he not necessarily won the minutes tonight, but he was at least even with Joel Embiid when he got matched up with him. And that was for a lot of the time there in the third quarter.
Billy Hernangomez was a plus 17 tonight.
Was he really?
He's a plus 17.
He also had a 3-point attempt in which he got fouled on, which was insane.
He and Jax also got fouled by the same player on that 3-point attempt. I don't know what type of voodoo Billy Hernangomez has over Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
I have no idea what type of what voodoo doll he has, who he's praying to at night before the games he plays the Sixers. But like, if I'm not mistaken, the last time he played Joel last season, he gave him 25
in the first half. AD talks about, Jared talks about that game all the time when everyone was out. Hernangomez
25. I don't know. I don't know what dirt he has on Joel, but Joel can't do anything with it. It's weird. It's a weird matchup because Jonas is more traditional, and Jonas wants to. You know what? Let me say this. Billy had a play where I think he understood. He got this through his head fairly quickly when he tried to back Joel. He tried to back him down, and then he pump fake twice, and Joel sent it to like Bourbon Street, right? But I think when he realizes when he goes quicker, instead of like backing him down, face him up and make him move his feet, and that makes all the difference in the world. And you saw that again when they started putting Joel in the pick and rolls, and he started having the guards Zion leading the games, make him move his feet. He's 7'1", 280 pounds. He not as special as a talent as he is. He ain't trying to move like that. He ain't trying to guard nobody out there on the perimeter. You know what I'm saying? From the perimeter to the rim. And I think that's the difference. But I don't know what voodoo he has over, what voodoo Billy has over Joel.
Ross, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, there's the best way to attack, a lot of, I won't say the best way, but there's a lot of guys that are really good offensively, whether they be crafty or athletic or big or whatever, that just aren't that good defenders. Like, and for me, Embiid is one of those guys. He's a good defender, but it's hard. Look, when you have to do so much on the offensive end, like it's hard to also go down there on the other side and like get down in the stance and play defense like that. So look, I did this a couple days ago just for out of my own curiosity. Hernangomez is an interesting player. Like, go look at his per 36 minutes every year of his career. Like, they're almost identical. Literally every single year. Doesn't matter the team. Doesn't matter the situation. Doesn't matter the opportunity. Doesn't matter the teammates. Go look at his per 36 percentages and numbers. They're almost the exact same. Like, you know what you're going to get. And yeah, Justin, we talked about that he seems like a guy that, at times this year has maybe wanted to play more and maybe should have. But yeah, he stays ready. And clearly his game is a game that can plug and play. and this is a good matchup for him. Like he's a good offensive player.
He's a
Really
great
good.
offensive
He's
player.
A good offensive
He's a
player.
he's a great.
It's look. We said this. It's almost frustrating. Not frustrating. It's tough that he wants more, and maybe it's just like not there for him on this roster. But he's really, really good, and this role is good for him. Like he's a really good player in this role.
I agree. I agree. I agree. Another guy, Chaz, talking about. Jackson Hayes got matched up on Harden 3 different times in the second quarter, and if it wasn't for a miracle step back 3 in which Harden hit, and Harden hits those, it's not like a miracle he hit it. But I thought that Jackson won all of those matchups. And we talk about Jackson all the time being the perfect 5 for this team, right? Because he can switch 1 through 5, and he's athletic enough and long enough and quick enough to guard guards. Tonight, he did that and more. I mean, you probably look at his box score if you're listening to this right now, you'd be like, oh, he only played 19 minutes. He didn't even have a shot attempt. But he was a plus 12. He was active on the weak side. I mean, I know he had that fluke like 3-point attempt. He hits all 3 free throws, though. Once again, more productive minutes from Jackson Hayes tonight.
Yo, this is probably the most important thing I'm ever going to say on this loud, right? But it's critical that you guys hear me out. Y'all ever seen the movie Stuart Little with Michael J. Fox? You remember when they first adopted Stuart and they were meeting in the living room. It was a big family meeting. And everybody was like, oh, yeah, Stuart, football practice about to start. We got to get you some pads, man. And the grandma was talking about, yeah, he's little now, but I remember one summer I just shot up. And, there's all these things. And the little brother was like, yo, he's a mouse. What are you talking about? He's football. He's not going to play football. He's a mouse, right? That's how I be feeling with these post-game reactions. It's like, yo, it's been 2 games. I've watched this man for 4 years do the same thing.
Shit.
I just saw this man do this. What are we talking about?
You can't give any credit. It's unbelievable.
No, for real though. To his credit,
it's been 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks, not 2 games.
It's only been all right. 2. Let's say it's been 4 games. All right, I'll give him 4. All right, I don't know how many games. When did he?
It's been 4 games. I'll give you 4
OKC,
games.
Right? Since OKC, right?
Yeah, I'll give you 4
games.
games.
Okay, since OKC, I absolutely have to say Jax has been. I think he's been really effective. And in fact, I would say he's been a better defender than Dyson these last 4 games. I think Jax is. I think he had a couple big rebounds. Dyson's been terrible, yo. I think we had a couple big rebounds tonight. Great contest on Harden. I think last game he was locking people down. I'm telling you, truthfully, if we could throw a lob, Jax could easily get 10 to 12 points a night, man. It's just
I agree.
I don't know if I think it's beyond repair at this point, but
if it's beyond repair, why you should be happy that even these last 2 weeks there's a thing called the NBA trade deadline coming up.
Oh yeah,
he's a promising player that maybe isn't in the right situation, could be a good trade.
Chat. But then we always said Jax was a 2nd or 3rd team guy.
He reminds me so much of JaVale McGee. Like JaVale McGee finally figured it out, realized what his role was, started winning championships. Once again, presented to you by New York Life and DraftKings. DraftKings, the official sports betting partner of Boo Crew Media. All right, Lito, you made fun of me. I love bringing this up because you made fun of me for saying this team was a 50-win team. They are. Yeah, I mean, I have to. So we're 34 games in.
We're a 48-win team, though.
Well, hold on. Can I please go?
Yes.
Thank you. We're 34 games in. We've won 23. So if you do the math, double that, that's 46. They're probably on pace for like 58 right now, 56 wins. You made fun of me straight to my face, and then you also then made fun of me in a group chat. So that's why I'm not letting it go. I've been called overly positive and this and that, and come back to this world. Well, it's funny because we're first place in the West. Now everyone's saying we're a championship contender, and we're on pace for 56 wins. So what I'm saying to you though, Lito, is that can they continue this?
Justin, can we be overly positive together here?
Yes, absolutely. We have Chaz be negative for everybody. So
oh my God.
I'm gonna be honest. I have on this podcast and I have nothing to say. Like I have zero. Like obviously there are things that you can tweak right? But I'm looking at the West. And I'm trying to be calm about it. I don't want to say anything because I don't want people to pay attention. But I'm looking at the West, and it's wide open. It's like it's Bourbon Street after midnight. Any way you want it, like you probably could get it if you have a little bit of money in your pocket. I'm just saying, like it's wide open.
Let's get out the rails. I love it.
It's wide open. Like
as a flag.
I'm just saying, like who Ja did an interview. Ja did an interview a couple weeks ago, right, where he said, Malika Andrews was asking him about the Western Conference, and he was like, like, nah, we straight there. Yeah, he's right. They were just talking about the wrong team, but yeah, it's nobody there you should fear. I really don't see a team that has more talent, is deeper than us, right? Like there are things that we have to, like there's some roster spots I feel like you have to upgrade if you want to do this thing in the long haul, right? You have this war chest of picks. You got to decide what you're doing with that. But Justin, listen, bro, I'm on the positive side of this. I'm on the positive side.
I gotta get y'all kill me every single day, and then I fire back at somebody. It's World War III. I gotta give it back to a little bit, Chaz. I'm gonna go to Chaz. I'm gonna go to Ross because Chaz, you did a great. I really enjoyed your show today about Joel Embiid, but you've talked about this before. So Toledo's point, he talks about this war chest and this talent and how deep this team is. You look at the West right now, it's not as good as it usually is. It's gettable. And for a franchise that's never really had the opportunity to be a championship contender, is it now? Is the time now to make the big splash, to make the move, to go get another superstar, to team up and try to go get a championship?
Truthfully, people not gonna like this answer, but I still don't know how to evaluate this team
because of Brandon.
That's why I never get excited about this. It's because when I say you had a major trade acquisition with Zion, that came at the expense of Brandon being gone. I don't know if you see the same Zion with Brandon. I know for sure you don't see the same CJ with Brandon. So it's kind of tough for me to call. I personally think if you do see enough sacrifice from CJ and BI, and I hate to ask BI to sacrifice because of all he did last season, but I think if you see enough buy and enough sacrifice, I think you can go get another guy, a high usage guy, and just go for it. Because personally, I look at it like this. Again, first in the West, love it, but you got to do it in the playoffs. You got to do it when the lights are bright. And the Warriors went to the finals, lost, went and got Kevin Durant. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, look, I'm glad you brought the Warriors because the Warriors I think they upset, correct if I'm wrong, I think they might have upset like the Nuggets or somebody in the first round when it was Clay and Curry early on.
Yeah.
Then they got to the second round and they got
the Spurs, right?
They lost and then they learned from that and then I think they won the finals. But Ross, we talk about it. Home run move. What does a home run move even look like right now? I don't know. But to Chaz's point, he has a really good point. We still really don't know how good this team can be because Brandon Ingram's missed the last 16 games.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be the one like clear question mark for me. I think just going back to your previous question, if you make a move, what I would consider a win now move, like it's still. And I'm speaking purely for myself, just like really obvious what that move is from a position perspective. But stepping back from that, and Chaz really does say it every single podcast is that, and I agree with him now more than I have ever, is it like that there's still a big unknown. And I was going to bring it up earlier because, and I'm not sitting here vouching for Najee being in the starting lineup or something. I just want to preface it with that. But I do want to say that there's a clear, like, different mentality with him in that unit, right? And it's a little bit different than what Herb brings, and it's obviously a lot different than what Ingram brings. And there's just been so many pieces in and out at that kind of like on the wings that like I need to see 10 games with like that whatever the starting lineup is, right? I mean, I'm assuming Bi and Herb come back and like they just plug right back in. I don't, I think there's maybe some debate on whether Herb slots straight back in. At least for me personally, but I don't know. There's still some rotation things that I'm unclear about, and I want to see 10 games. And look, we have the luxury of sitting here at the one spot in the West, and we're 23-12, and whatever this record is. And like, if we come back and don't play that well for those 10 games, like it's not the end of the world. Like, if we come out, if he comes back and we go 5-5 while we figure it out, like, okay, all right, it's not, and that's kind of the benefit of playing well this early in the year is that there's a little bit of leeway, I think, before the trade deadline. But look, Brandon's got to come back and play.
Yeah, I mean, Lito, he's our guy. People are kind of souring on him, but once again, we were talking tonight.
Wait. Hold up. Before you do that, I want to ask Ross. He said it was obvious. I want to know what do you think it is?
Upgraded center. I still think what?
That just broke his heart.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. I mean, and it's the same thing I said 3 weeks ago. Like if gun to my head, I think if you let me go pick almost any player in the league, I get Bam Adebayo. I think he just fits like beyond perfect with our roster. The ages sort of match up. He's a versatile defender in a way that almost no one else in the NBA is. He can step out and hit a 60. Like I think he just fits unbelievably well with the roster and like what I think we need long term moving forward. But he's not a high usage guy like what Chaz said earlier. So I mean, certainly open to debate that. But that's the type of player.
No, that's all good. I just.
He's so upset, Chaz.
What?
I mean, this is JV's attorney here.
I like Valanciunas. But we're talking
JV's
about
my
the playoffs,
son.
and you know what's going to happen in the playoffs. Like you know exactly what's going to happen.
I know.
Leo, he doesn't want to admit it though. But
I like Valanciunas. I think he's a phenomenal regular season player. Like I just don't like. He's just not going to be that playable.
What you said just now was such a great thing, Ross. I'm glad you said that. Again, regular season is awesome. This is a totally different game, like in the playoffs, like totally different.
Justin, log me out, Justin.
No, and I'm not even talking about JV. I think we all kind of know JV not going. but
JV has held his own. Against the Suns,
we're talking about. Look, wait, stop. But because there's no like, I don't even want you to have to go in and like defend Valanciunas. Like there's nothing to defend. Like he's a good player, and I think he's playing well. But we're talking about. We were just a second ago talking about like we're not talking about the playoff. Like we're not talking about getting to the playoffs anymore. We're talking about what makes you a championship. Like I'm looking at the teams and saying, I think we're the championship contender. I can't say that right this very second. I think if I subbed out Valanciunas for another player, I start to really, really might be like I can say that. That's how I'm looking at it. We're one seed in the West with Valanciunas. Like, I mean, we're obviously a good team.
Is Bam Adebayo a home run move, Chaz?
Yes.
What do you think you're good with this stuff? What do you think you got to give to get a caliber player like Bam Adebayo? Like, you got to give up the war chest of picks?
Yeah, you got to give the war chest of picks.
You're gonna want players too.
Yeah, you got to give. You have to give up JV. You got to give up Devontae.
Is Trey, Herb, Dyson involved in that?
One of those three probably. And the thing is, admittedly, you should. If you have a chance to win, if you got a chance to be a perennial contender, you go for it. It don't really matter. It's all about the name on the front.
Everything else is locked up. Like this is not a situation too. And I'm sorry to cut you off, Chet. This isn't a situation where you're sitting there saying, damn, well. That puts us in a weird spot because we got to re-sign BI next year, and like I don't know what the future for Zion looks like. Like everyone is locked up. I guess this is not a situation where you're saying we're gouging ourselves to try to win this year. Like,
right?
Like this, what happened? Like the squad you got at the end of this year is going to be the same squad you got next year and the year after. Like this is not a 1 year thing, and you can't look at it that way.
Hey, look. Listen. If we can get Bam, JV gotta go. Like I'm not.
Truthfully, I don't think
hold
he's
up.
available.
Chaz, hold up. Let's go down this, because if we're gonna get into it, the Heat, I don't think are going to, if we're realistically going to look at this, I don't think the Heat would be a team that is going to say, yeah, screw it, we're going to tank, like, let's get rid of our assets. I think it's going to be someone like the Raptors, maybe the Bulls, like some of those teams. Like, what is actually realistic? Of course, I'd want Bam Adebayo. I think every other team would want Bam Adebayo. But who can we actually go get? Because I'm looking at Toronto, an OG Anunoby, a Pascal Siakam. Your head just went to the ceiling.
I don't know what. I like those players. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Don, you go ahead. I'll go after you. Go ahead.
Ross is staring at the ceiling right now. You would take a Fred VanVleet on this team, Ross? You would take a Fred.
I'm talking too much. Yeah, go ahead. It's just the OG. It's the wing that gets me. It's like we already have that. Like, yes, he's a very good player. If I sub in OG for Herb Jones, or the combo of Herb and Trey, I don't think anything changes. Like, you're just sitting in the exact same spot you're in. Like, you already have a glut of players on the wing, and we're all forgetting that Brandon Ingram hasn't played in a month. Like, there's just not that many minutes. They're just not there, and I don't. Like that,
OG averages 18 and 5 and shoots 36% from deep. Like, I don't know what you're doing. Who are you comparing him to?
Like, yes, it's an upgrade.
Yeah, absolutely, it's an upgrade. Of course, it's an upgrade.
It's another guy that he's not really a shot creator.
Okay,
not a huge shot creator.
I got 3 of them.
So what are you saying you need? So what do you need? Tell me what you need. Tell me what he brings that you don't have right now.
You can hit threes at consistent rate. You can score.
How many fucking scores do we need? Are we like first in the league in scoring?
Isn't he a very good defender? Am I off on that too? Did I leave?
Herb Jones is supposed to be a first team all defensive player.
Okay, so then I'm not saying we trade Herb Jones, but I'm saying is that you can get OG Anunoby and a guy that shoots better than Herb Jones. So that would technically then be an upgrade.
You can get OG and keep
yes,
Herb.
Absolutely, you can keep them too.
It's just I think
why would you want to though? Wouldn't OG be the upgrade?
Yeah, OJ was.
Guys, you're not getting Bam Adebayo. Like, I'm trying to be realistic with this.
But the thing, that's why I've been for waiting to this offseason, right? I say you hit a couple singles. You know what I'm saying? Round the team out, rim defending big, get another shooter, and just see where it goes. Maybe help be on your side, like with Devin Booker going down. Nuggets. I think the Nuggets is an interesting matchup. But I think you could beat the Nuggets, especially while they on they going through what they're going through while they're recovering. Clippers kind of old. I don't know what to do with them. But as far as like again, with Brandon being out, it makes it so difficult to evaluate because I'm all about maximizing Zion. I think Zion gives you the best chance to win, right? Putting the ball in Zion's hands. It's Patrick Mahomes to me. Everybody else, Teddy Bridgewater, Taysom Hill. That's how I feel, right? So that being the case, I would hate to bring in another guy who would take the ball out of Zion's hands before I seen how everyone else works with him. But you got to make a decision at some point. Like,
let me say this. I'm sorry, Chaz.
I'm done.
I was just gonna say, man. Let me say this. Zion Williamson right now is playing like the MVP of the NBA, right? Playing like an MVP of the NBA. He's playing like a top 5 player. We on a 5-game winning streak. We number 1 in the West. I don't know what we need. Like, I don't know. I can't.
You need shooting and you need rim protection. Like,
I mean, yeah, for sure. But I'm saying, like, yeah, but
Lito, I don't mean to cut you off, but we all know the playoffs are way different than the regular season.
Absolutely,
they're way different.
And I'm not trying to. You always need shooting. You always need rebounding, right? You like these are consistent themes, and again, you do have roster spots that players are in these positions where you could make a move and you do have the picks to do it. All I'm trying to say is you're number 1 in the West without that, but moving forward, right? Like, again, the West is wide open. So if you do make a move, I don't think you need a home run move. You don't need a home run. You need to shore up the shit you have.
So then you're basically agreeing with Chaz. Like, make some singles, hit some doubles, maybe. Then
yeah.
make a move in the offseason.
I think it's like dating, right? It's like dating. What are my options? Because if I got like a great option, then I might want to move on. But if I'm like, if this is the best I can do, I'm gonna stay here, ride the wave.
And be a family man.
And I think that's that's a very good analogy, because that's sort of how I feel about OG. Is like, for what you would have to get up to get him, and he's only got 1 year left because he's 100% opting out of that third year, that player option.
Yeah.
So you've got him. He's the guy. He's like what we just talked about not doing, right? Where we just said, you've got the same team coming back next year and the year after that. Like, you got to look at this thing in a 4-year block, in my opinion. I don't want to change out any, I don't want to change out any important piece as we sit here today, to Lito's point, that possibly affects that like 4-year, and I'm calling it right now, a championship window. Like, you have a 4-year championship window before like the money starts getting weird and everything else. You want to make a move to go try and win a championship this year, I'm all for that. Just because shit doesn't come around all the time, right? Zion, we're complimenting the hell out of him, and rightfully so. He's playing like an MVP. He's also like in his 4th year, and this has just played his 100th game. Like, there's a reason for those things. I've said from day one that Zion is going to be better before age 25. Like, he's not going to be a guy that's going to hit 28, 29 and be at his peak like a lot of guys are. Like, he's probably at his peak as we sit here today.
Shit.
Maybe next year, maybe the year after. Like, he's not a guy. Like, I'm not looking like Zion at 30 is not going to be as good as Zion today. And I'll have that argument with anybody that wants to have it.
Chaz, very good point here. I mean, a guy that could technically actually be gettable, Chaz, I'm sorry to cut you off, would be Karl Anthony Towns from Minnesota.
Yo, I've said it, and truthfully, to piggyback with Ross's point, I'll say this, right? To counter a little bit, because I did agree with a lot of what you said. Man, look at the Bulls. Like, last year, the Bulls started off, they were number 1 in the East. Bulls started off on fire. Now look at them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, these things, they happen, or, and the inverse happens. You start off like the Celtics, start off bad, then you figure it out, et cetera, et cetera. Again, I think it's tough to get a good eval on this team without seeing everyone healthy and in the positions that they're meant to be in. But there are guys on this roster we know not going to be here. You know what I'm saying? I think the West this year provides a unique situation. You got a bunch of guys coming off of major injuries and is wounded. And Zion has become, in the MVP conversation. He's, and that is like, raising the tide, right? So if you have a chance to go win this year, go for it. Because look, I don't trust Brandon. And I'm gonna just come out and say it. I don't trust Brandon's going to be in the NBA 4 more years. I think Brandon's going to retire and start an ostrich farm. That's what I think is going to happen. And I'm not. I'm only half joking. I'm not even joking like that. I don't see it. And to Ross's point, this could now. If Zion goes like Lito says and goes LeBron and invests 100% into his body and just goes crazy, he could get a lot better. And that's a scary thought, because he still don't have an incredible handle, and he's just now developing that jump shot. And if he became like an 80% free throw shooter, he would be like incredible. So
maybe a 36% 3-point shooter. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he would be incredible.
Can I ask a question? Because Lito, you said something earlier, and then Chaz, you just said it too. And I guess I don't know whether I disagree with you, but I think it's just more of a misunderstanding. Is you guys have both said like either the West is wounded or like it's not. I guess you made a comment that it's not as good as it either previously was, or it's not as good as it might be like later on due to injury or whatever. But I guess I don't know that I see that quite as much, right? I mean, because in thinking back, like I think this is just the West now. Like the teams that were good 5 years ago are just old, and so I think what you're seeing is this is the new West, and maybe you're the team that's like going to lead that moving forward. I guess I just don't like who are you thinking is going to like reemerge at this point?
No, I am scared of the
isn't
Clippers.
Currently here.
I'm scared of the Clippers. Well, because when they're fully healthy and Kawhi's playing, like they're really good.
But do you think that's kind of a this year fear, or like you don't like, or do you
I don't feel them in the future now.
Kawhi,
I fear
34, Paul George 33, 34.
The only team I fear is the Grizzlies.
Yo, I was about to say that. The one
Grizzlies and the Suns. Sorry, those two.
There's about
Grizzlies and the Suns.
3 teams in the West that I just don't want to play.
Who's your third B?
Honestly, well, this is gonna be people gonna laugh at this, but I don't want to play the Lakers. I don't want to play them, though. I'm serious. Like when I look at when I think of the best version of Anthony Davis, right? I'm like, damn, how would I really stop that? Let's say JV's on the team, right? Let's just say he is.
You don't stop it.
You would have to let him and LeBron, you would just have to try to shut them down, and hopefully guys just miss threes. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just
but in a 7-game
they are going to miss threes. Like that's the only problem.
Exactly.
7-game series.
They are going to miss threes.
Oh yeah, in the 7-game series, I think we win. I think we beat them in 6, but I still like too many weird things can happen.
I hate to double down on this just because I know what y'all. My phone is going to blow up as soon as this damn podcast ends. But like, I think the Nuggets are still a bad matchup for us because we have. Answer
I 100% agree.
Michael Porter Jr. just came back and is a good player.
Aaron Gordon's a really good
Jamal Murray's just coming back off of ACL.
That's what I'm saying. They're a team that's like still sort of getting it back together, and we're like I mean, we've had injuries. They've obviously had a bunch of injuries. They're like still figuring it out. We obviously still have a lot to figure out, and we're tied for first in the West.
I think the West is ascending.
I agree. I think there's like been an era change here where the Lakers are, that's kind of old and aging. Yeah. The Clippers are kind of old and aging. The Warriors are now aging. Like there's been a shift there.
What I meant was when I said it, like there's not a team that I fear is what I meant when I said it. Like not necessarily like a team that I see coming from behind to catch you. It's just like when I'm looking at the West right now, I don't see anybody who you should be like I'm afraid of. But
yeah, I agree.
But if I gotta be honest, they're not playing well right now. But they literally just won 3 games in a row. I'm scared of the Warriors, bro. Like Steph was having a career year.
Yeah.
And he coming back in 2 weeks or a week, actually a week now. And this is what I'm thinking. My thinking is like, I'd hate to be the number 1 team in the West. The Warriors getting the playing tournament.
Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying? And then
that would hurt so bad, bro.
That's the shit that I'm talking about. So that's what I'm saying.
Hold on. Did y'all all 3 just agree and say you don't want to be the number 1 seed in the West? What are we doing?
No, that's not what he said. That's not what he said.
He highlighted a specific hypothetical where you're the 1 seed.
You play the Warriors
are like banged up.
I mean, I get that.
Because it's matchup dependent, right? It's if the Pelicans play a team that shoot a lot of threes, it's going to be a dang. Yo, I don't want to play the Kings. I don't want to play them either.
Guys, y'all. So then you don't want to play anybody. Let's just
no. What I'm saying is this current until
we want to play the Lakers.
No, think about it. Until I see that we can run guys. Until I see that we can run guys off the 3-point line and defend at the rim, I don't want to play guards that can get downhill and kick out to Harrison Barnes, Kevin Herter,
one of the best
all these other guys.
God, that is like you just literally named like 2 just run of the mill have you seen Kevin Herter this year?
We will. You said, but you started with Harrison Barnes, dog. Like,
all right. I'm
just saying, like,
here's the crazy thing.
I'm not scared of Harrison Barnes.
No, here's the crazy thing. Look, yo, we just got swept by the Utah Jazz.
Oh, Chaz, come on, man.
What is we talking about?
You're wild.
What is we talking
Chaz,
about?
Look
at Ross. Look at Ross. Ross, like, yeah, we did. Like, yo, come on.
Because I was about to make the joke. I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, who else is down there with the Kings? I might say the Jazz. I was like, nah, let me not do that. Let me say the Kings.
I don't know.
Chaz just said he's scared of an 11-win team. Like, I don't know what to tell you, man.
Team?
The Lakers just won their 11th game they won?
No.
15-21.
Yeah, they won tonight, 15-21.
15, even better.
Yo, I'm telling you. But
Jazz is terrified of OKC this year. Terrified.
Yo.
Hey, hold up. Chet Holmgren comes back. I mean, he carried on the promised land.
Yeah, comeback player of the year next year. Most improved. Let's go.
Okay. Hey, but while we're talking about OKC, I still, while we're talking about high usage guys that might be available and should be available, if I'm not getting a center, Shea is still his number. He's like the 1-9 center.
What's his contract?
Like if I'm gonna
his contract's good for him.
Yeah, it's good. If I'm emptying the clip, it ain't for OG.
Yo, I ain't gonna
OG.
lie.
It's for Shea.
I'm with you.
But he's another guy, yo. At some point, I ain't gonna lie, yo. You gotta consolidate these. You can't. I don't know if you can have Shea, Brandon, Zion, and Bi. Like it's just gonna be, man.
No,
you have to consolidate.
No. Here's why. Look, here's why. In these two specific things, I'm gonna tell you why. One, Shea is I won't say an all NBA defender. Maybe he will be this year, but he's a very, very good defender. Let's just say that.
Okay.
That's one difference. Two, you've now seen the last few weeks, like CJ's back up shit after a night. He's probably back up over 40%. Like now you start to be able to do some things from a 4-out. Like you do, he brings an element that like Herb just doesn't bring, or that Trey doesn't bring. Like it's a totally different. And I sit here and I think about the playoffs. Like you're playing 7 dudes in the playoffs, maybe 8. Like it's gravy right now. It's cool that like Jose's playing well and that Willie's coming in and giving you some good minutes and like that I just complimented Najee. Like that stuff's all great, bro. If I could have like 7 or 8, like if I could have Shea, CJ, Bi, Zion, JV, like if you give me like 7.
Yeah.
7.
No, I'm with you. If y'all told me that everyone was going to be like, you know what? Because I think if you get Shea on this team, I think Shea is the second best player on this team. So, because I think Shea is playing at an MVP level this year right now.
Okay.
So if you get Shea on this team, if everyone else is going to say, all right, I'm third option now. All right, I'm fourth option now. I'm with it, but that ain't gonna happen. That's why I say.
Look at the Warriors last year, right? I mean, there's some similarities to that, right? There's Curry, there's Clay, there's Poole. Andrew Wiggins was
Poole was a 6-man though.
Wasn't he? Well, that. And what have you been saying?
You know what? On that note,
the point is there's a lot of those type of guards and wings are just different. It's not like having like 3 good big men that you just can't play. Like those dudes can play together in the playoffs. And in fact, you have to have them.
Yeah, so let's just go get Bam Adebayo and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and we'll just go win a championship.
Wait, Justin, can I ask you a question, Justin?
You have 30 seconds, and we got to wrap up. 30 seconds.
Do you sell out for Bohan? Do you give them 3-4 picks right now? If you thought Bohan, because you got to give
Bogdanovich? I mean,
you got to give him
3 picks.
You're going to have to give
Don't we have a bunch of seconds? Like, I would give a Lakers first, not probably this year, but the next year, and then I'd probably give up, or in Milwaukee first. For Bojan Bogdanovich.
It's going to be 3 of them.
They can have that.
Ross, could you imagine a Zion Bojan Bogdanovich?
I would do it.
3 first for him?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I
wouldn't
give
3 first. I would give 3 picks. We have a couple second rounders from Milwaukee.
See,
but y'all know only 5 dudes play on the court at once, right?
Yeah.
Ross, you just said you wanted Bam Adebayo and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Because those guys are clear upgrades over what we had, over the 5 we would have.
Is Bogdanovich
clear
an upgrade over?
My 5 would be
Justin. You can only play 5.
I know.
We number one in the
coached
West.
the game. I know.
You can only play 5 guys.
We'll wrap it up. Presented to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner. Not in the middle of an ad, Ross.
You said
not in the middle of an ad.
type.
DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of Boot Crew Media. Use code BOOTBET5 on any NFL team. If they win their game, you win $150 in free bets. 23-12. Hey, by the way, for real though, thank y'all for all y'all support this year. We've grown so much as a podcast, as a channel, so we appreciate y'all. I hope y'all have a happy and safe new year. We will see y'all on the 3rd. We're going to take off tomorrow. But Lito, Ross, Chaz, thank y'all for everything. It's been an incredible year. So shout out to 5 and Chris Conner not here as well tonight. So y'all be safe. 23-12. First in the West.
Later.
Take that 10.